This week, this channel will turn 8 months old. And in 8 months, no channel has ever done what this channel has done. And while you may see things on the front side, like number of subscribers, number of videos, it's the back end that has been record breaking. Number of minutes watched, number of hours watched, number of minutes shared, number of comments done. In 8 months of a channel, never in the history of YouTube has any news channel done anything like this. The growth of this channel in 8 months is because of you. And today, a major announcement. The major announcement is Lalate is becoming a 24-hour news network starting today. Today, the same Lalate that you know and the same time slots and the same shows will expand to 24 hours of programming around the clock. You saw us testing it over the last few days, and it worked. Programming will expand around the clock from mornings to afternoons to evenings to late night. 24 hours of programming of news around the clock right here on one channel. In the next year, I expect the channel to also go offline to broadcast news as well. 24 hours of programming is what the viewers of this channel have demanded and asked for. Viewers said, "Where's more shows? I want a show between morning and noontime. I want a show in the afternoon." In fact, most of the shows were your desires, your calls for, and their creations. 24, which was our noontime show, which debuted the 24 days before the election, and 48, which was another version of the same show at 12 noon and is now called Holidays LA, was your idea. You said we wanted a show in the middle of the day. We can't wait all day to hear you again. We need more news. And yesterday, one viewer even said, "I need a show between morning and noontime." Then viewers said, "I can't wait to see you in the morning. I need something before 8 o'clock in the morning. I can't wait till 11 o'clock on the East Coast to see you again." That birthed Early Mornings LA, the hit show, which has actually become one of the real blockbusters of the show. 6 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 a.m. and 3:30 on the West Coast. And then people said, "What more?" And that became Late Night LA, which is still carrying the badge of Early Mornings LA. Programming last night started at 1 a.m. on the West Coast. At 1 a.m., programming was rolled out, then continued to 2 a.m., and then Early Mornings LA kicked in at 3 a.m., and then, of course, mornings to noon, to afternoons, and to evenings. You've asked for it, and we have delivered. I have delivered, and I'm so excited for this ride that we have taken. In 8 months, no one has done what we have done as a family and will continue to grow. You don't need anything but a connection to the internet to enjoy the virtues of this programming. You can watch it totally on your cell phone, totally mobile, whether you're on the go or at home, whether you're on your tablet or your computer. The programming has the same spirit and the same functionality wherever you are. The anticipation is that the programming will also appear on other platforms in the coming months, and that after that we will also move to broadcast programming after that. The programming that you're seeing on this channel and the time slots will not change, but some of their familiar faces that you have asked about are coming back with their own shows. Sirloin will have his own show. So will Javita Late. And Blaine66 will have his own show. These shows will be slowly merged into the programming schedule so you can see what's going on at the casino more regularly. You can see what Javita Late is doing once she's gone from SBA, and you can see what Blaine66 News' job is in ensuring that the devil does his own work wherever he works at, which for some of you think it might be Congress last night was the devil. So much and so little time, and I appreciate you for the run. And with that, let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is last night, as you know, a congressional bill was passed, and the second stimulus bill and second stimulus check is now history. Viewers had always asked me every single day since the start of this channel, "What are you doing after they pass the second stimulus check? Are you going to leave us? Where do you go? What are you doing after they pass the second stimulus check? Are you going to leave us?" I said, "No, I'm not leaving you unless you want me to leave you." What are you doing after second? Well, I'm not leaving you now that the second stimulus check has passed. I'm actually staying around you a little bit more than perhaps I had anticipated originally. As we get ready now for the third stimulus package, third stimulus check and third stimulus package, which is the expression I coined on this channel. I expect it to be lifted and stolen and purged everywhere left and right in the next few weeks. The third stimulus check and the third stimulus package, which is Biden's stimulus, which is January, is just a few weeks away. In fact, in comments last night, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi said we're going to get this ready and it's going to formulate very quickly. I'm seeing a lot of questions in the comments, and some of them I'll answer right now. Some of them I'll leave them for later. Has the president signed the bill yet? He has not signed it yet. Can the president veto it? He can sign it. He can veto it. He said he will not be vetoing it. When is he signing it? When he's finished with the 18th hole is when he's going to sign it. The news article says he's going to sign it sometime in the next couple days. I thought the government shuts down if he doesn't sign it. I thought so too. I thought he has to sign it by 12 midnight last night. I thought he does too. Can he change the deal provisions? He cannot change the deal provisions. Can he print it out and make it potpourri? He can't do that. So then, when do I think he's gonna sign it? My God, it's very weird because everything is teed up, not to use a golf term, but everything is teed up from when it becomes law. Like, when does the stimulus check go out? Well, when it becomes law. When does the FPUC start? When it becomes law. When does UI kick in? When it becomes law. It's not law yet. It is law in its how do you say it? In its perceived notion, but it's not actually law yet until the man signs it. And yeah, can you stop the golf game and just sign it and get back to whatever things you're doing? And with that, there is no, and I don't want you to perceive any sort of nefarious or Flynn version of what's going to happen with your second stimulus. Flynn is not going to come in and change your stimulus to the no. This is what it is, and that is about what's going to go on. Why he's taking so long, I don't know. I guess the golf game's not going very well, so he's focusing on that at the moment. The deal provisions, the deal in the last 24 hours, as totally to be expected. In the last 24 hours, the DMs, the emails, the private messages, the purpose of them, the purpose of these recordings is for me to answer your questions, and I know I was going to see these questions. I changed the banking account, and the IRS won't know where my check is. I got divorced, and the IRS won't know I'm divorced. I had a new baby, and the IRS won't know I have a new baby. I know you have these 9,000 questions, and that's the purpose of the programming. So please always default to the programming, default to the live. I'm keeping the number of live shows as always. This one, Being a Mitch and Purple Power, and so far Holidays lately has been taped and live. So I will answer your questions about all those things starting right now. The stimulus check. The stimulus check will be $600 for individuals up to $75,000 2019 earnings, and then $1,200 for couples up to $150,000 earnings, as well as $600 payment for each child dependent. Adult dependents do not get a stimulus check, which I've said for a couple times. Adult dependents will not get a stimulus check. The family will be a family of 4. So that means a married couple, 2 kids, or single parent, 3 kids. If there is an extra kids in the family, they won't get a stimulus check. The issues and the questions I'm getting are, as to be predicted, this thing happened in my life since yesterday or since a month ago. Will they get it? The answer is generally no. The IRS is paying people based upon what they know. So the IRS only knows what they know. If the IRS knows you had a baby last month, then the IRS will pay a check to that baby. The IRS doesn't know the baby exists. The IRS will not be paying the baby. So ultimately, 99% of your questions about this happened about different in my life between me and my spouse, between me and my bank account, between me and my baby. The simple answer is, does the IRS know it? If the IRS doesn't know it, you're not going to you're not going to get the check. Is there any way to fix it? No. There's no way to fix it. They had to have known this at the time. And the next, if you got a first stimulus check a certain way because you did a non-filer filing or because you contacted them or whatever you did, you don't have to do it again. So once IRS knows everything about you, you don't have to repeat it again. So that's also really important to understand is IRS just needs to know it once and one time. You don't have to repeat the process. But again, if IRS doesn't know it, there's no way to fix it. Next, what happens if the account you had is no longer the checking account or savings account you have? Then what happens? What will happen is the check will go electronically to the closed account or the former account, fail, and then they'll mail you a paper check. So if the electronic account is going to fail, they're going to attempt it and that's going to fail and they're going to send you a paper check. Of course, the biggest question is what happens if your mailing address has changed as well? Then you got a lot of problems. There's not a lot of clarity from the IRS what they do when there's changes of mailing addresses. We understand what they do when there's failing of processing of accounts, but with that, there you go. Adult dependents. I think I forgot to look. That's a great question. I think it's 17, but I don't remember it by heart. I'm sorry. So the check is not taxable. I always get that question. The check is not taxable. And the routing times. Okay, so let me go over routing times. And I even saw some tweets this morning. Steve Mnuchin has always represented that it is 10 days from the date at which it becomes law for you to physically get it. When I mean physically get it, I mean you look at your bank account and it says, hi, you got a direct deposit today. That's what physically gets it. 10 days for you to physically get it by electronic receipt. Now, I've always said you maybe add 1 to 2 to 3 days because some banks are slower on processing direct deposits. 10 days from when it becomes law for you to physically receive it. I have seen it. I've already commented about this, and I'm sure I'm going to comment about it again. I have seen his comments that things are going out. They're going out. They're heading out. They're going somewhere. Who cares where they're going, Steve? That doesn't mean that people are going to get it. It's physically 10 days in your hand. Physically 10 days in your hand. Is that business days? That's calendar days. That's a great question. It's calendar days. It's calendar days, but if the day is a weekend, then you count the next day. It's calendar days from it become law to physically get into an electronic receipt in your bank account. And that hence causes the obvious question. When is the president going to sign the bill? If the president doesn't sign the bill today or doesn't sign it yesterday, then doesn't that delay my stimulus check? Yeah, it does. So I don't know what the president is doing. The president not signing something is delaying your stimulus check. So if you are unhappy with that, take it up with him. Don't take it up with me. Not my doing. So if the president waits till next Monday to sign it, you're losing an entire week. When Steve Mnuchin says, I think the stimulus checks will go out next week. Wait a second, the president hasn't signed the bill. That's just sort of ridiculous. If the president signs the bill on Monday, the checks will go out next week. Yeah, congratulations, they're going out. That doesn't mean anyone's going to get a check next week. And so that's the routing times. And yeah, someone just said, wow, it is a wow. Can the president do executive orders? He can do executive orders down to January 25th. At this point, I think he's focused on pardons. Next, the PUA, UI, FPUC, which is going to be the reason why let me give you a roadmap of where we're going as a family over the next few weeks. The roadmap is I will be doing second stimulus, I will be doing third stimulus, and I'm going to be doing state stimulus. Because there's 3 things that's going to be getting you money, but they're not all coming at the same time. The second stimulus will involve all those instruments that will be paying you money. Some will pay sooner than others. Some will take a very long time to get you the money. And let me just say them right now. The stimulus check will come first. Unemployment will come later. Rent will come much later. Broadband will come much later. That's the second stimulus package. The third stimulus package, Joe Biden, the stimulus check may come right away. The SSI and SSDI will come right away. And then the eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, student loan repayment will be maybe an executive order on day one. And so what you're seeing is that some of this third stimulus stuff may happen before you even get the second stimulus stuff in your hands. Follow that again? Some of this Biden stimulus stuff may happen the second week of January before you even get your second stimulus stuff items. Um, then the state stimulus I'm going to be doing with you every single day around the clock, because that state stimulus can land in your bank account right now. So the state stimulus could be first, second stimulus could be second, and then third stimulus could actually slide in ahead of second stimulus because of the way things are happening. All right, now let me turn to UIPUA FPUC. UIPUA FPUC is really surprising. So UIPUA, FPUC will all, as a three instrument item, will all move forward and continue to March 14th uninterrupted. That they will be at $300 a week going forward. If you are inactive, you will become active. You will have to ensure you continue to recertify for benefits on a weekly basis. And do you have to reapply? I don't know. Every state is going to be different, so stay tuned to your state's website. All right, so now let me go over the bigger issue for UI and PUA and FPUC. This is not a good thing. Your UI, PUA, and FPUC may not land in your bank account for over a month. There's been a lot of reports for a very, very long time that this is going to take a while for the federal government to get you the UI, FPUC, and PUA. So be prepared financially to understand that come January 1st, you may not see that check, even though your benefits are still active. So there may be a delay upwards of several weeks or over a month. And I want you to be prepared financially for it. I know there's going to be a lot of people going to send me DMs in the middle of January. Where is my FPUC? I thought I'm getting it already. And that is what's going to be very confusing. Eviction moratorium. This morning I saw on Twitter someone tweet an angry tweet saying, "I'm homeless and I have no food and I have no gifts for my children." I feel for that person, but in the same regard, I wonder if that person's watching these recordings. One, as to evicted, there's an eviction moratorium in place, and the eviction moratorium was extended last night. What I talked about with the eviction moratorium is you have to do things to ensure you get the eviction moratorium. Second, the volunteers are helping get viewers of this channel food. Third, the volunteers of this channel are helping getting viewers gifts, which is from Salvation Army, children's charities, and also St. Vincent de Paul, Catholic Charities, and Toys for Tots. So there is something for everything that person said in that tweet, and I wonder if that person had been watching these messages. The person tagged me in the tweet. So it's important to understand that there are things in here that protect people, and you cannot ignore the things because they really help. Some of the things in here really help. One of the first ones is the eviction moratorium. The eviction moratorium is extended to January 31st under this bill. The eviction moratorium ensures that you cannot be evicted, but you need to do things to get this eviction moratorium. It's a CDC eviction moratorium. It's the one that Trump passed by executive order over the summer. It requires you to do certain things. It requires you to download the CDC order, fill it out, give it to your landlord. And so if you sit back and say, I'm protected, you're not going to be protected. On the other hand, if you say, I'm going to be homeless tomorrow, you can't be homeless because there's an eviction moratorium. And ultimately, you may see me shout or scream or pound the floor, but understand there's an eviction moratorium in place. Use the eviction moratorium and don't say I'm facing eviction because there's an eviction moratorium now. Rent aid and there is a lot of wonderful rent aid in here. This is a thing that I don't think is going to get into your hands for a while. The rent aid will take some time to get into your hands. Someone said UI lapse. UI will not lapse by number of weeks, but it will lapse in payments. Absolutely. You're not going to see weeks of UI payments in your hands for a while. Let me just say something. The spirit of this channel is to be on message, is to be truthful to the news, and to be accurate and to be positive. I've seen 30 comments in a row. It's not law yet. I really don't know what the purpose of those comments are. Do you presume that it's not going to become law? Because it is going to become law. So someone keeps on repeating the same comment. It's not law yet. It's not law yet. It's not law yet. It's not law yet. Who cares? It's going to be law. So what's the purpose of continually repeating that it's not law yet? Because at some point it's a law. And Trump is not going to veto it. He's already indicated he's not going to veto it. So I don't know why people repeat negative messaging that doesn't help you. For example, I'm dealing with a person who's trying to face eviction moratorium, trying not to be evicted, and someone's saying, it's not law yet. Well, who cares it's not law yet? It's going to be law in a few days, and you need to be ready to get the eviction moratorium. You need to be ready to ensure you get your UI and PUA paid. You need to be ready to know when your UI and PUA is coming. And then someone keeps on saying, it's not law yet. Well, good luck, it's not law yet. We understand it's not law yet. Ultimately, the important thing to understand is that you need help. And this is the help that's coming. It's not a particularly great bill. We're not going to say it's particularly great. We're not going to, you did not see me popping champagne last night. And yes, there's some things that are omitted in here, and I'm going to go over it later in a second. So yes, your UI will lapse. You will not get UI in your pocket or PUA or FPUC for a couple of days, weeks, or perhaps a month. And that is what's important to understand. There will be a lapse, and I want you to be financially ready for that. So going back to the eviction moratorium, it's a CDC eviction moratorium, which I don't like. It requires you to print out a piece of paper, fill out the piece of paper. Where's the piece of paper? Where do I get the order? How do I do this? The volunteers will be able to provide you a link to the order. I generally have the link of the order in a lot of the descriptions of this video. If you don't do it, you don't get the protection of the eviction moratorium. And this continues to January 31st of next year. Rent. There will be massive rent aid you can get. Massive rent aid. It ain't coming fast because the way they're going to do it is they're sending it to the states, and the states are then going to send it out to you. With that states coming, with the money going from the government to the states and then the states to you, it just takes a while. It takes a while. How long do I see it? I see it to at least late January. I don't see you getting this rent for a while. And that is where we are on this. 15% increase on SNAP. This could be instant. Things that are very sort of logical may be instant. You're going to get a 15% increase in SNAP and food banks. Childcare. I don't know how quickly the childcare could come out. That could be relatively quick. That childcare is really needed for low-income families. Broadband. The broadband's wonderful. I just sense the broadband. I mean, it's the broadband companies. You know how long it is to take the utility company, get them on the phone? Yeah, so I expect you to get the broadband, before 2022. I just expect this to be insanely slow. It's like, here's some money, broadband. Okay, how are they going to roll out the broadband? It's like, who's gonna send them? Who's gonna get the broadband out to you quick enough? And that is everyone getting the broadband? No, just low income people. So the broadband, the rent, the child care are people generally who made $49,000 or less last year. All right, finally, the EIDL grant. The EIDL grant, you see me bringing back all the EIDL videos. They're on late night Lalate every day here at about 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I'm bringing back the EIDL grant and the EIDL loan. The EIDL loan is open. The EIDL grant is not open. I see there's going to be a lot, how do I say this? There's going to be a lot of false reports about the EIDL grant. There's going to be a lot of just do this and you'll get the money reports, which you don't want to watch. I don't want you to watch those reports. And then there's going to be me. Back in May, there were some people who told you, just do this and you'll get a grant eventually. If you work with me then, one of the infamous videos of this channel for Blaine 666 was when I played an adult dancer, a male adult dancer. And I called up and I said, because I'm a stripper, can I get an EIDL grant? It was actually based upon a true story. There were a series of exotic dancers out of Atlanta who applied for the EIDL grant because of an Instagram scam where a person on Instagram was saying, just tell them you're an artist. Because artists get EIDL grants, strippers don't. And strippers got EIDL grants based upon that information. I expect that happen again. You're going to see some nefarious people, and they're going to be even owners of their YouTube channels, that'll tell you, just say this and you'll get an EIDL grant. Just say this and you'll get an EIDL. Trust me, it is not an EIDL grant that is as comprehensive as you thought, and 99% of the viewers of this channel won't qualify for the EIDL grant. With that, let me go to third stimulus. This is Biden's stimulus. This is what most of the questions I've seen so far have been about third stimulus. When will we get the SSI and SSDI? Third stimulus. When will we get hazard pay? Third stimulus. When will we get FPUC retro at $600 a week? Third stimulus. When will we get real rent assistance? Third stimulus. When will we get student loan debt repayment moratorium? Third stimulus. When we get mortgage forbearance? Third stimulus. When we get mortgage rent assistance, that's better. Third stimulus. When will we get the remainder of our $10,000 EIDL grant? Third stimulus. When will we get I didn't get a penny of the EIDL grant. When do I get any of that EIDL grant? Third stimulus. All these things are kicking in third stimulus. Nearly 9 out of 10 questions you're asking are third stimulus. Very rarely is a question you're asking have a it doesn't exist answer. I've seen your questions. Your questions are awesome. And most of your questions are so great. It's just you not knowing where something is, which is because these people make it confusing. So a lot of people are asking, when do I get it? 9 out of 10 times, it's third stimulus. And the third stimulus, and multiple stimulus checks as well. So there's no mortgage moratorium. There is no mortgage moratorium. It's horrible. That is one of the real buffooneries of this bill is not to have a mortgage moratorium. Finally, state stimulus. State stimulus is being paid from your cities, counties, and states, and also from nonprofits. And those nonprofits that are working across the country include United Way, Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul, Community Action. When do I think, that was a great question. When do you think third stimulus will happen? That's a great question. I think this is how Joe Biden's going to do it. I think on day one, you're going to hear Joe Biden announce executive orders. And I think the executive orders will be the following: eviction moratorium, mortgage forbearance, student loan debt repayment, anything where it doesn't involve money, that involves your protection. I think he's going to do that on day one. Then I think before day one, you're going to see the bill. If you don't, I'm going to be on Twitter hitting up Nancy saying, Nancy, draft the bill, get the bill ready. We should have the bill ready for a vote on day one. And I think that the bill will likely get passed in about 7 days after he comes into office. I don't think they're going to wait very long. I think it's going to be very, very quick, about 7 days. And then the money you would see, again, the earliest would be SSI and SSDI. They may see their money first, and because you're set up for electronic receipt, and then the multiple stimulus checks would be the next first item, and then other items would start to filter into them as well. Do you think her bill will go into a $2,000 a month or 6 months until the pandemic? I think that a lot of the policies she wants will manifest themselves. So I do think it's going to look a little bit like her bill. And she has some other stuff that is really good. She does not want the rent aid done the way this way. This eviction moratorium is junk, and this rent aid is junk because if they don't pay it, there's no recourse. She always presumes there's a problem, and she has a backup for the problem. So I think she's going to fix these things because these things don't start the way they should start. So yeah, I believe so. If you're just joining me at the 30-minute mark, let me give you a recap of where we are this morning on Mornings Lalate. The morning's LA major announcement this morning is that after 8 months of this channel turning 8 months old this week, and after breaking every YouTube record ever seen on viewership, minutes watch, hours watch, subscriber growth, number of programs, and similar, this channel is now becoming a 24-hour news network. Lalate is now a 24-hour news network that will deliver you programming around the clock. You may have seen the details and this testing of it in the last 2 days. Shows this morning debuted at 1 o'clock in the morning, continued at 2, and continued there at 3 o'clock. You will see programming, news programs, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week that answers all your questions so you don't have to even use a television set anymore. The shows will be the shows that you've grown to love in the same time slots with more shows. This morning, EIDL was back. EIDL with a throwback show, followed with PUA and UI and FPUC, how to get the application approved, a throwback show. You'll also see new shows like Sirloin will get his own show. Javita Late, Blaine 66 will get their own shows. These shows are the result of your question. You're asking for more shows at more time slots. And that has been the successful growth this channel has been because of your requests and me fulfilling those requests. Midday shows like Holidays LA, which was predated by 48 and 20 and 24, the shows that detailed the final weeks of the presidency and the final days before the election, were all your idea when you said have a midday show. Early Mornings LA was the result of your idea where you said, I can't wait till 11 o'clock on the East Coast in the morning for a new morning show. Can you get an earlier morning show? And that was the result of your idea. Now you'll be able to see shows 24/7 around the clock. It's important that you subscribe to this channel. Go to the front channel, subscribe, hit the alert button, because ultimately it may be too hard to tweet out every single show when every single show is announced. But they're all the shows that you love and enjoy, like Mornings Lalate, Early Mornings Lalate, Holidays Lalate at noon, Afternoons Check, Purple, Being a Mitch Live, followed by Evenings Lalate and Purple Power Live will remain as they are. You'll just see more shows spread across other time slots of the day. With that, you're going to see a lot more of me, and I'm not going away. Over the last few months, people have always asked me, what are you doing as soon as we get our stimulus check? Are you leaving us? Are you going away after we get our stimulus check? No, because you're going to get some more stimulus checks starting in January. So I'm not going away. I'm staying with you and expanding this programming schedule. As someone just asked, yes, the shows will be available on other platforms as well. The shows will be delivered out to other platforms as well in the coming days. And in the next year, I anticipate the show to be on broadcast news, terrestrial, U.S. domestic syndication as well. Moreover, I'm opening the vaults and bringing out more of the shows from the library of LLA. There is a lot of shows on this channel that are that have been broadcast. I have no idea how many it is. It's probably 5,000 to 10,000 shows in 8 months. But there's a lot of shows, a lot of fun, a lot of information, and all that information is still current because EIDL is coming back in January, the grant. PUA applicants and UI and FPUC applicants have the same questions. How do I get them as well? And I'm here to deliver that information to you in the way in which you get that information ensured quickest and easiest. It's important you go to the front channel, subscribe, hit the alert button, and also enjoy the interactivity of the shows that feature live chats, instant premieres, and similar things like that as well. I've enjoyed this run, and I've had a lot of fun with you and continue to look forward to the fun going forward. And one of the questions I've gotten the last few days, do you see the Christmas tree? You do see the Christmas tree. I'm trying to figure out when, because if I show the Christmas tree, it has to be a taped show as opposed to a live show. So I have to figure out how to do that as well. And the also as well, I have seen some of the tweets. I was tweeting them as well. I have seen some of the scandal tweets from last night that referred to the items that were included in the second stimulus package. They are not my doing, but they are the result of legislators who have 5 minutes to read a bill. Egypt got 1.5 trillion. Egypt, Africa, Cambodia, a series of 5 to 6 countries got upwards of $3 billion in a stimulus package that's for us, not for them. And that certainly was lit across Twitter all last night. Egypt was trending number one in the United States because of that. And those scandalous moments are not surprising. There's pork always on a regular basis. Do a live show in front of the Christmas tree? I could. The lighting may not be good enough. I could figure out if I can bring the production lighting in there. You may not be able to see me because of the Christmas trees. I just sort of blend in there. Um, so there you go. Thank you for joining me on Early Mornings LA. I really appreciate on Mornings LA today. Join me next on Holidays LA. Just announced Biden third stimulus should be done by December 2021. It should. It should be done already. They should have already had the bill written and ready for us to look at and ready to go. It's too little too late, and they need to get this going. So stay with me, and thank you for making LA News Now a 24-hour news network. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay at LA for more.